Hello, welcome to the CCL YouTube channel. My name's Alex, and today we're going to look at phrases with do and make. Do you make mistakes with these words? Do your best to follow, and I'm sure you'll make progress in no time. At school or college, you probably do a lot of work. We use do for many things that you do while studying. Every day, I'm sure your teacher tells you to do homework. How much homework do you do? Tell us in the comments below. However much it is, I'm sure you do too much homework. At the end of the school year, and maybe several times during the year, you also do tests and do exams. When I was at school, we did many tests. And in the last year we had to do some very important exams. Instead of tests or exams, in some subjects you might do assignments. When I was at school, I remember doing an assignment about the traffic in my street for geography. When you finish school, you might want to go to university where you can do a degree. Often you will tell people what subject your degree is in. For example, I'm doing a degree in economics. Or you can just say the subject. For example, I do journalism. Do you know what you would like to study at university? Whether you're at school, college, or university, it's important that you do your best. Here, do just means to try. As my parents used to tell me, if you do your best, that's all you can do. If you do your best, I'm sure that you will also do well. This means that you will learn what you need and get good results. So far, we've used a lot of do, but what about make? Well, you can only do your best if you make an effort. These are similar expressions, but make an effort isn't as strong as do your best. Make an effort means to try, but do your best means trying your hardest. And if you make an effort, then you have a good chance of making progress. If you make progress, you're getting better at something. Of course, if you are not doing well and making progress, you might make excuses. Well, you can, and we all do it sometimes, but if we're being honest, maybe we didn't really try our best, and so we are just making excuses instead. Do you always do your best? Are you making progress in any of your subjects at the moment? What about using these words with something other than study? Well, when you come home from school, perhaps it is your turn to make dinner. Actually, this is one that we can use do or make. We use make to mean cook, so you can make dinner, make lunch, make an omelette or another dish. But we also use do with many chores. So you might say to your parents, I'll do dinner tonight, if you want to give them a break. After dinner, someone has to do the dishes. This means to clean the plates, knives and forks, and perhaps the saucepans that we use to cook. Hopefully, whoever cooked didn't make a lot of mess. Or you might be doing the dishes all evening. Of course, nobody could even cook something if someone hasn't done the shopping. We use do with shopping when we're talking about the routine grocery shopping to buy food. If you're shopping for something more enjoyable, such as shopping for clothes, then you will say to go shopping, because this isn't really a chore. Are there any chores that you hate doing? Perhaps if you have some free time, you have a hobby. Maybe you do sport. We don't usually use do with individual sports. Instead, we would use play. For example, play football, tennis or hockey, or go, such as in go swimming, cycling or skiing. However, there are some sports that we do use do. We can use do with martial arts. For example, I do karate. We can also use it with some fitness or exercise routines or individual sports. For example, I do yoga or I do archery. Which sports do you do? A great reason to do sports is, of course, to make friends. Remember that making friends means you're getting to know people that you didn't know very well before. Once you know them and you are friends, you are hanging out with friends or spending time with friends. Sooner or later, one of your friends might ask you to do them a favor. This means they will ask you to do something for them, and you can then ask them to do something for you in the future. Very often, the favor might be to give them some money for a short while. This might mean you have to make a decision. Maybe you have the money, but you don't think that they will pay you back. But of course, if you refuse to lend them the money, maybe they'll decide you're not such a good friend after all. You have to make a choice, your money or your friendship. Maybe instead you could make a suggestion. You could suggest that they get a part-time job. That way they can make some money for themselves and they don't need to ask to borrow any from you. Or perhaps you can make them an offer instead. Instead of doing them a favor or lending the money, you could give them the money for something they have that you want, or if they do something for you. Maybe they could do your homework for the subject that you like least of all. If you lend the money or give it so that they do something for you, they are making a promise. Either they're making a promise to pay you back, or they are making a promise to do something for you. If they don't do what they've promised, then we say that they have broken their promise. Has this situation ever happened to you? A friend has asked you to do them a favor, or you've had to make a tough decision about what to do with your friend. I hope that this has helped and you now feel more confident about these phrases. There are some rules with do and make, but to be honest, the best way to learn them is as phrases, and try to use them as often as you can. Head over to the link in the description below and complete the exercises about these phrases to help you remember them. I'll see you in the next lesson.